at all costs, by any means. Even through cold compromises with public opinion and history, Camilla finally rose to the highest position, Queen of the United Kingdom. One might think that now she could peacefully enjoy her golden days beside the throne and the man she had pursued for more than half her life. Yet, just when her position seemed solidified, a media earthquake struck from the place she least expected, Kensington Palace. In a brief but heavily symbolic statement, Prince William stunned the entire United Kingdom by publicly confirming Princess Charlotte's new role not merely as his beloved daughter, but as the bearer of an unprecedented royal responsibility. Charlotte, the little girl who once stood behind her brothers in the line of succession, was now granted a symbolic title, heir to the spirit of Princess Diana. This announcement did more than melt the hearts of the British people, who had long seen Charlotte as a fresh breeze carrying the cherished memory of Diana. More importantly, it triggered a series of difficult questions about the power structure within the royal family. Was this a strategic move by William to prepare for a post-Charles future? Or was it a subtle message to Camilla that her era had come to an end? Because if Charlotte is truly being groomed to become a symbol of succession, a symbol of the Diana legacy, then Camilla's role in the public eye will become increasingly irrelevant and out of place. Camilla has never been fully embraced by the British people, and now, as a new generation rises with a wholesome and relatable image, Camilla's radiance risks being overshadowed more than ever. Is this the final bell tolling for Camilla's influence within the palace? Will she quietly retreat? Or will she continue to fight for her place, even if it means confronting the very heir to the throne? The future of the British monarchy stands at a challenging crossroads, as old and new values clash, and as the memory of Diana remains too powerful to fade. Charlotte's emergence appears to be a soft yet weighty answer. And now, dear audience, we invite you to respond type 1 if you truly care about the British royal family, or 0 if you believe all of this is nothing more than an extravagant palace drama. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can continue to follow every dramatic and emotional twist behind the ancient stone walls of the British monarchy. To claim the title of Queen, Camilla Parker Bowles walked a long, dark, and controversial path. A journey in which honor, emotions, and even the tears of others, especially those of Princess Diana, were trampled without mercy. Not everyone has the audacity to stand in the royal spotlight while the nation is still mourning the tragic death of the people's princess. But Camilla did. She felt no shame. She never stepped back. She walked through it all as if Diana's pain had been nothing more than a necessary part of the power game. Camilla was once a name scorned by Britain. The media labeled her the royal homewrecker, the persistent mistress, the ghost that haunted Diana's life. But rather than retreat from the royal spotlight, she moved closer step by step, patiently and stubbornly. When Diana was still alive, Camilla was quiet but relentless. When Diana passed away, Camilla began appearing more publicly beside Prince Charles, despite the waves of public outrage. From the role of secret lover, she gradually made her way into the palace, erasing the memory of the woman Britain once adored. She faced fierce opposition when Charles announced he would marry her less than a decade after Diana's death. To appease the public, the royal family stated that Camilla would never be called queen. But through cunning maneuvering, from Duchess of Cornwall to Princess Consort, and then in 2023, she officially wore the crown and ascended the throne with the full title Queen Camilla. No more limits, no more disguises. She had succeeded. But what is even more frightening is the coldness in the way she achieved it all. The public has not forgotten the photos of Camilla laughing and chatting at Diana's funeral, nor the distant, even contemptuous look she once gave Prince William and Prince Harry in the early years after their mother's death. The promises that she would not replace Diana's role, or that she would simply support Charles from behind, were nothing more than masks. Because after becoming queen, Camilla quickly revealed her influence and ambition, interfering in the internal workings of the palace, reducing the roles of certain members, and most notably, empowering those closely tied to the Parker Bowles family. Some sources revealed that she had tried to push Catherine, Princess of Wales, out of the royal family's inner circle by manipulating the media, driving a wedge between William and Harry, and orchestrating media crises to distract public attention. But what she perhaps did not expect was that Diana's blood still runs strong in her children and grandchildren. William has not forgotten, Charlotte has not forgotten, and Britain has not forgotten. That is why, when Prince William announced a new role for Princess Charlotte, not merely a ceremonial decision, but a symbolic act, it marked the return of a new royal generation, carrying the spirit and charisma of Diana. It was the clearest message to Camilla: her era is counting down. Will the throne that Camilla fought so ruthlessly to claim be sturdy enough to withstand a rising wave, a wave made up of those who carry Diana's image, stepping forward with strength and resilience, and gaining increasing public support? The answer may not come immediately, but every step Charlotte takes on the royal path is one that makes Camilla's crown begin to tremble. In some miraculous way, amid the unprecedented turmoil within the British royal family, a little girl is becoming the emotional anchor for countless royal admirers. Princess Charlotte, with eyes full of clarity and determination and gestures that radiate self-possession, is increasingly showing that she is not just the daughter of Prince William and Princess Catherine, but the inheritor of a powerful and emotional lineage of female leadership. Without needing a crown or lavish gowns, Charlotte stands out whenever she appears in public. In her, people see an astonishing firmness, a seriousness that feels natural, as though inherited from Princess Anne. The woman known as the Steel Warrior of the royal family, Anne, who bore royal duties for decades, never crumbled under public pressure, scandal, or internal turbulence. And now, that spirit seems to be blossoming fiercely in Charlotte, the little princess, with the remarkable fortitude of the generation before her. But Charlotte's heart has not been hardened by the pressure of royalty. Beneath her sharp gaze and often serious expression lies a deeply loving heart, a rare emotional quality that irresistibly reminds people of Princess Diana. Charlotte is always gentle with her younger brother Louis, polite and thoughtful in her interactions with adults, and often moves the public with small gestures, like the way she held Queen Elizabeth's hand at her funeral or bowed her head before the Queen's coffin. These are not just signs of good upbringing, but instincts, the instincts of someone who possesses a profound kindness, the very quality that made Diana the people's princess. It can be said that Charlotte is the perfect fusion of two of the most powerful women in modern royal history, Anne and Diana. She embodies the toughness and principles of her aunt and the open, compassionate heart of the grandmother she never met. Even without reaching adulthood, Charlotte has already made many believe that the future of the monarchy does not rest solely on the shoulders of Prince George, the heir to the throne, but also on her own small yet noble frame. In a time when the royal family is continuously shaken from the rift between William and Harry, to Princess Kate's illness, and the never-ending scandals surrounding Camilla, Charlotte is a breath of fresh air, a pure hope. The British people seem to be finding in her the image of a monarchy that requires not just intellect, but heart. A monarchy where justice walks hand in hand with compassion, where the crown is not distorted by schemes and manipulation like what they have witnessed from Camilla for decades. It is deeply ironic to look back on the path Camilla has taken from a figure shunned by public opinion to the day she wore the crown beside King Charles. To gain that throne, she spared no tactic, including shattering the happiness of others. But now, As all the once blinding glamour begins to fade amid Charles's growing detachment and William's cold gaze, the image of Charlotte is shining brighter by the day. The little girl does not need to fight, does not need to prove herself. She simply is who she is. And that is her greatest weapon. It is hard not to be moved when seeing Charlotte at public events. Every curtsy, every step carries a silent message. The royal family may have been wounded, may have made mistakes, but the future is still there in the determined eyes of a 9-year-old girl. Many have commented that if Charlotte were to become queen, she would surely lead the British monarchy back to its golden era, as seen during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, a time when royalty was inseparable from dignity, responsibility, and a deep emotional connection between ruler and subjects. And recently, Prince William, heir to the throne, made a surprising, game-changing announcement. Princess Charlotte would officially begin her first royal duties as she entered her early teenage years. We are beginning a new chapter, one that honors the past while building for the future, William declared during a press conference at Kensington Palace. His face radiated resolve, but was also filled with emotion, as if speaking not only from his heart, but also on behalf of the souls who came before, especially his mother, Princess Diana. This announcement is more than a matter of timing. It is a highly symbolic event, marking the moment when the next generation of royals steps out from the shadows into the public spotlight with a defined and guided role. Charlotte, the young princess with sharp eyes and calm composure, will participate in community events, represent the royal family in charitable activities, and gradually learn how to handle diplomatic responsibilities. Even more noteworthy is William's timing in making this announcement, which sends a powerful message to those doubting the relevance and value of the constitutional monarchy. In a time when King Charles grows increasingly frail due to illness, Queen Camilla causes division and controversy, and Prince Harry has nearly withdrawn from the royal institution altogether, Charlotte's image offers renewed hope. Hope that generational transition is not only inevitable, but also an opportunity to refresh and reshape the monarchy's role in the hearts of the people. Under the flashes of hundreds of international photographers, Charlotte made her first appearance as a royal representative at an environmental protection event in Cornwall. No extravagant gowns, no lavish jewels. She chose a simple navy suit, a minimalist style that evoked the powerful image of Princess Anne in her prime. But when Charlotte bent down to speak gently with a disabled boy and softly held his hand with a tender gaze, it felt as though Diana had returned gentle, compassionate, and never allowing status to eclipse humanity. On social media, a flood of positive comments erupted. Many expressed that they felt reassured knowing that a new generation of leadership was quietly forming, so different from the internal chaos that had distanced the monarchy from the public in recent years. One account on X wrote, "Charlotte doesn't need a crown. She already carries the aura of a true queen." And perhaps that is exactly why William, who has endured so much loss and responsibility, places such deep trust in his daughter. In these times, as Britain is shaken by illness, controversy, and a loss of faith, Charlotte's solemn yet compassionate presence is the first light of a new chapter. A chapter not merely written by inheritance, but by courage, dignity, and love, the eternal values Diana passed on to her bloodline. It's not hard to see that Prince William's latest announcement regarding Princess Charlotte's official assumption of royal duties is far more than symbolic. It marks an irreversible turning point, revealing that the power dynamics within the British monarchy are undergoing profound shifts. And perhaps the most remarkable detail in this entire story is the silence. Silence from the two figures who once stood at the center of every storm, King Charles III and Queen Camilla. For decades, Charles and Camilla were symbols of a divisive monarchy, both the embodiment of royal succession and an unhealed wound in the memory of Princess Diana. But now, as the public shifts its gaze toward the next generation, as cheers no longer erupt at Charles's appearances, and as Camilla's image fades from the headlines, one truth becomes increasingly clear: power no longer lies in their hands. King Charles has remained almost entirely silent since William's major announcement about Charlotte's future. There has been no official statement from Buckingham Palace, no sudden royal appearance to reassert authority, not a single photo, not a glance, not even a congratulatory message to his granddaughter. His silence for a man once so seasoned in the media battlefield is what many find the most unsettling of all. Camilla has also vanished completely. She has been absent from all recent public events. No statements, no images, no explanations. The woman who once defied every social stigma to be called queen is now entirely overshadowed by the presence of a 9-year-old girl expected to inherit the throne. Observers believe this is a clear sign of a quiet yet irreversible transfer of power. Multiple royal insiders have revealed that, following King Charles's prolonged treatment and significant decline in health, his role has become largely ceremonial. Important decisions are increasingly being handed over to William, the eldest son, and to younger, more agile, and more publicly connected members of the royal family. The British press no longer hesitates to refer to William and Catherine as the de facto king and queen. While Charles retreats to the background, William and his wife continue to appear at major events, represent the United Kingdom abroad, and even take charge of the royal family's official charitable and media campaigns. This naturally raises an unavoidable question. Are we witnessing a form of dual reign? A king in name only, while a prince holds the real power? Few can deny that William and Catherine are now the ones shaping the future of the British monarchy, and they are not doing so in silence. On the contrary, they are leading with a clear vision, with unprecedented public support, and with careful preparation for the next generation, especially Charlotte, who is widely expected to become the second Queen Elizabeth. Recent public opinion polls in the UK have shown an unprecedented result. More than 73% of respondents say they trust William and Catherine to uphold and renew the image of the British monarchy in the 21st century. Meanwhile, support for King Charles has dropped below 38%, a record low since his accession. Camilla, once elevated by Charles to the title of Queen Consort, is now but a fading shadow. Fierce backlash from the public following recent scandals, including allegations that she obstructed Princess Catherine's full recovery after treatment, has sent her reputation into steep decline. Several articles have even raised the question: is Camilla being frozen out within the royal household? Is a form of internal punishment quietly underway? Meanwhile, William and Catherine stand out as symbols of balance, dignity, and modernity. They are devoted parents. They are inspirational figures in social and environmental campaigns. And most importantly, they represent a new generation of royalty, one that knows how to listen, adapt, and walk alongside the people. It is no coincidence that even young people once seen as detached from the monarchy are beginning to show support for William and Catherine. Videos of Charlotte on TikTok, parenting articles about Catherine on Instagram, or images of William carrying his child to a football match all contribute to redefining the idea of royalty for a new generation. Thus, Charlotte's initiation into royal duties is not merely a sign of her personal growth. It is a declaration of power, a new movement in the symphony of succession, and the clearest evidence yet that the British monarchy is entering a new era, one in which William and Catherine are not just heirs, but the true players in charge. And while Charles and Camilla choose silence, the public is speaking for them through their support for William and Catherine. This shift is not loud, not marked by rebellion or unrest. But it is happening day by day, hour by hour, through the hopeful eyes of a nation longing for renewal. And now, those eyes are turning toward a little girl named Charlotte, who, in just a few years, may well become the living embodiment of a revived royal dream. For those who follow the royal family, it has become increasingly clear that King Charles III is seriously ill. No longer mere baseless rumors or tabloid speculation, his pale complexion, sunken eyes, frail body, and unsteady gait as he walks through the halls of Clarence House speak for themselves. Whispers have begun about a blood-related illness, possibly lymphoma, or perhaps chronic leukemia. No one knows for sure. But one thing has become clearer than ever: the king is no longer physically capable of bearing the weight of the crown. And this, in turn, has pushed the British monarchy into a quiet but tense succession crisis. Because if King Charles can no longer reign, then what will become of Camilla? At the age of 76, after a lifetime of waiting in the shadows, Camilla finally wore the crown. But that crown now feels heavier and more fragile than ever. Like a dazzling night of fireworks that quickly fades, her power could vanish in the blink of an eye if Charles falls. According to royal protocol, if the king passes away, Camilla will not become Queen Regent. She holds no political power, no role in governing the country. The title Queen Consort was already a controversial gift bestowed upon her during the final years of Queen Elizabeth II. And if Charles goes, that title vanishes with him. A dark future may be awaiting Camilla. The public, already divided about her, would not hesitate to ask. So how long was she actually queen, and was she ever truly worthy? Without Charles, Camilla is nothing more than an uninvited guest, trapped within ancient stone walls where no one really wants her to remain. Her relationship with Crown Prince William has long been cold, even tense. And if William ascends the throne, will he retain her within the palace in some ceremonial role, or will he politely usher her out, as if closing a chapter best left behind? Royal watchers don't even hide their skepticism. Has Camilla's growing presence and influence caused fractures within the royal family? Has she slowly reached for things that were never meant to be hers? And are the consequences now starting to catch up? In the darkest scenario, the death of King Charles, Camilla could be completely isolated, no longer a part of royal events. No more diplomatic tours, no more voice within the royal household. In her place, a disconnected presence, like Sarah Ferguson after divorcing Prince Andrew, once part of royalty, now sidelined. Or worse, like Wallis Simpson, the woman for whom a king abdicated Camilla could become a symbol of scandalous history, a woman who disrupted tradition, altered the course of royalty, only to be abandoned by history in the end. More painfully, in the event of Charles's death, Camilla might have to vacate Clarence House, the place they once called home, and move to a smaller residence. No one can say for sure whether she would still receive a royal stipend. Though once the wife of a king, Camilla is not the mother of the next monarch. And that makes all the difference. As for the public, any sympathy for her, if it ever existed, won't last. The public is already weary of Camilla's appearances in the media. While Princess Catherine, fragile yet resilient through illness, continues to be celebrated as the true royal icon, Camilla is increasingly seen as an outsider trying to seize attention. Once Charles is gone, so too will be Camilla's reason to exist within the palace. And then the harder questions will start to arise. Is Camilla's presence really necessary in this critical period of transition? Should she continue to reside in the royal household, when both the public and the institution are yearning for a new royal image, younger, more relatable, and less tainted by controversy? Some historians are even willing to suggest a shocking theory. Camilla may become a soft target for the royal family to rebuild its image. By quietly removing her from public life, the monarchy could reconcile with public opinion, return to beloved traditional values, and distance itself from the decades-long scandalous romance. Of course, no one can deny that Camilla has been a source of support for Charles, a confidant, a companion during his most difficult years. But that very fact makes their story all the more complicated. A love that was real, but blossomed from the wreckage of a royal marriage. A close relationship, but one built from the fragments of public disapproval. And now, standing on the edge between life and death, between a throne and a looming power vacuum, Camilla must ask herself, if Charles is no longer here, then who is she in this court? An indispensable part of history, or merely a small chapter that ought to be quietly closed? She has probably pondered that question many times, But this time, with every weakening heartbeat of the king, it echoes more urgently than ever. Amid the rapid changes sweeping through the British royal family, one cannot ignore the noticeable decline in the influence of King Charles and Queen Camilla. Once the focal points of power and controversy, they now seem like faint shadows behind the velvet curtain of the palace. The king's deteriorating health has left his ambitious reform plans unfinished, while Camilla, though still trying to maintain symbolic presence, no longer commands the strong voice she once had. Public interest in her presence is fading, and many now view her retreat as necessary to make way for a new generation of leaders, brighter, younger, and more in tune with the public. And that generation is beginning to emerge. As Charles and Camilla gradually step into the background, Prince William, Princess Catherine, and Princess Charlotte are becoming the emblems of a new monarchy, youthful, dignified, and attuned to the modern world. William is not only showing steadfast leadership in public duties, but is increasingly seen as a model of a modern monarch, calm, thoughtful, and devoted to the nation. At his side, Catherine remains a beacon of grace and responsibility, despite her harrowing health challenges. And then, from an unexpected place, Charlotte, the little girl once excluded from a royal party guest list, is slowly winning the hearts of the public with her intelligence, confidence, and the aura of a future leader. In this context, a new vision for the monarchy is beginning to take shape, a vision of modernization, of listening to the people, and narrowing the gap between the crown and the citizens. If the royal family wants to survive and maintain its standing in the age of technology, media, and transparency, it cannot cling to outdated molds. It needs heirs who not only understand tradition, but are brave enough to change it. And what about you? Do you believe that Princess Charlotte, with all the qualities she is beginning to reveal, can shape the future of the British monarchy? Can she become the true symbol of a new era, one where compassion, transparency, and wisdom replace courtly intrigue and hidden power? And in that scenario, how do you think Camilla will respond as her role fades and is replaced by a completely different generation? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because your voice is part of the multifaceted picture of the monarchy's future. Don't forget to like, share this video, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any updates on the secrets, conflicts, and quiet changes now reshaping the House of Windsor.